So we've hunted around for it all day and finally found it. What everybody's been talking about is there's guys doing something with lasers and smoke, maybe? All right, but everybody's been talking about it, trying to figure out, is this crazy? Is this cool? So we finally tracked it down, and so I wanted to get a little more information about exactly what's going on here with the laser microphone.
Right, this is our laser microphone, and it has no diaphragm, unlike some of the other current laser microphones out there that shine their laser a little shiny thing, and that vibrates with the sound. Now what we have is we have a laser shining through a column of smoke, and when you talk, the sound waves compress that smoke, and the crest of the wave creates a dense part of smoke, and the trough of the wave creates a low pressure part of smoke, and the laser shines through that and is blocked more by the crest of the wave than the trough. So we get a varying intensity of light on the photocell, which gives us an electrical signal, which we put into a computer and is converted to digital audio. In the microphone, there's a laser that you can kind of see right there. And if I had this turned on, the laser would be hitting this column of smoke that we're drawing up through there. And that is where all the sound is recorded from, really. And then that light goes through to the photocell, which is over right here. And so that's really where all the sound is recorded, is that photocell receiving differences in intensity of light.
So since most people have never in their lives probably even heard of using lasers for microphones, what's the end goal of this versus kind of traditional mechanisms of microphones?
Right. The whole point of this microphone is to eliminate the diaphragm. The problem with diaphragms is that they're large solid objects. So when a sound wave hits it, part of it is reflected back, as well as when it springs back, another pressure wave is created. So any new sound wave has to go through that and becomes distorted. So you start recording distorted audio right after the initial sound wave. Now with this, the sound waves hit the smoke, compress it, and keep going. And they are absorbed by the housing. So you get none of that distortion associated with diaphragms.
Cool. And one of the first questions I would have about this is, are there issues of stability when moving the microphone around, or what are the potential complications with that? Is it susceptible to light interference from other elements in the studio?
Well, currently, since this prototype is made of clear plastic and all the functional parts are really on the outside, this is very sensitive to the lights overhead, even though we put a shield on it. But in a product farther down the line, this would all be inside a dark housing, so you wouldn't have to worry about light. There could be an issue with moving it or bumping it would easily disturb the smoke stream, which you can tell if I were to flick this mic, it probably causes a lot of noise, as well as if you shake it too much. That would just be accentuated because smoke is much, much lighter than a diaphragm.
So if you don't mind, could we zoom in on this and you kind of run us through the different components of the microphone?
Oh yeah, sure. But right down here is a smoke generator, and that's basically just two heating elements that are heating up some oil and vaporizing it. And then that's drawn up through the inner tube in there, filled with straws to help create a laminar flow. And that's all pulled by this small computer fan. And then this laser, it has a lens on it to create a horizontal beam, and that shines through the smoke column into the photocell. And then there's a sound aperture right here, covered by this pink pop screen. We didn't really have a choice of colors at the fabric shop.
So is this mic, in terms of development of the technology, is this at a place now where you would feel comfortable using it to record now, or is it still kind of proof of concept?
Well, it will record audio and intelligible audio. You can recite Mary Had a Little Lamb and things such as that and pick out all the words. But it has a very plasticky sound, but that's because we're using a clear plastic housing. And the point of that was so you can see all the parts. Ideally, we'll use a more sound-absorbent housing in the future that won't have that plasticky resonance. So it does do recording right now, but we're very early in development. We're only about 2 months down the line of development.
That's awesome. Well, definitely one of the most interesting things here at AES this year. And I'll be really excited to see how the technology unfolds and hopefully get a chance to actually hear it pretty soon. All right, thanks so much for your time. We are here at KMF Audio and walking around the showroom and saw these mics, which look unlike anything I've ever seen. So I wanted to talk to Daniel here and see if he could give us a little bit of a rundown of what's going on with this design and what's the thinking behind this new concept.
So basically the aim of the design is similar to what you're trying to do with the binaural technique. We're trying to preserve natural phase information, but really more with speakers than headphones in mind for the actual output. So we've got two Omni capsules that are spaced at a distance that's equivalent to the distance between human ears, both side to side and front to back. So that's why it's wider than a head. They're mounted straight on a custom preamp that brings the signal up to a line level immediately. The other box is a power supply that's run on a cable separate from the mic cables. So basically the idea is get the signal as big and detailed as possible immediately off of the transducers, have as little interference as possible by running the power from the power supply, not phantom power along the mic cables. And basically what you get is a really amazing kind of sound field with a sense of three-dimensionality about where the sound sources are placed.
So what does this new setup bring to the table that we couldn't accomplish with spaced Omnis from another great mic company at the same distance?
Right. Basically the difference here is that this is a whole integrated design concept. You could go out, get a couple of great Omni mics, find somebody's preamp, put them together, get a similar effect, but this has all been designed from the get-go with that in mind. So the transducers and the preamp are matched, the power supply is matched.
Can we take a peek under the windscreens?
Actually, that's one thing we'd prefer not to do.
Okay, fair enough.
But
and, are these available currently?
They're available direct from us. You have to go to kmfaudio.com. And should I say the prices? Is that okay? The tube version is $7,000. Solid state version is $2,500.
And are there any releases out yet that have this technology that people could hear?
The easiest one for people to find is the one we got the Grammy nomination for last year in the Best Jazz Instrumental category. It's called Standards, and it's on a label called Fuzzy Music, which is Peter Erskine, the drummer's own artist label. So you can go to fuzzymusic.com and buy it right off of there.
Is the new 527 basically just one half of a 2500?
No, it has some 2500 features, but it's essentially based on the 225 compressor, or the 255 compressor that's on the big Vision consoles and legacy boards.
Cool, awesome.
It does have the thrust technology, which is this button right here, and you can't hear it on the demo right now because you're watching it on video, but this is basically called the magic roll button that will make you a way better engineer than you really are.
Gotta love that.
I do.
Paging Michelle, Greenwood, please dial 2973 for message.